Have you ever had that moment? You know the one. You're sitting on the edge of your bed. Maybe it's late at night or way too early in the morning, and things just aren't going right. And you ask yourself a brutal question. What stupid thing am I doing to make this worse?
Oh, absolutely. That is the most dangerous and necessary question a human being can ask. It's terrifying because if you actually listen, you get an immediate answer. And it is never the answer you want to hear. It's usually something like, you're lazy or you're lying to yourself.
Exactly. It forces you to look in the mirror. We have this fascinating collection of ideas today that revolves around that exact moment, the intersection of madness and greatness. It turns out they are neighbors. They borrow sugar from each other.
That's a poetic way to put it. But it's true. To transform yourself, you have to be willing to step into a space that feels a lot like madness to the outside world. It starts with solitude. You know, most people confuse being alone with being lonely, but there is a massive difference.
Right? The material we're looking at touches on this heavily. There's this idea that you have to frustrate your desire for external validation. You have to sit with the discomfort until you can say, I am okay with myself, just me.
It's about capability. If you can't sit in a room by yourself without reaching for a phone or a distraction, you aren't free. You're running. The argument here is that you shouldn't re-engage with the world. You shouldn't remarry your commitments until you are fully content being single with your own soul.
Which brings us to the concept of momentum. Once you are okay with yourself, how do you move? I loved the point about physical energy. We tend to think, I'm tired, so I'll sit on the couch to save energy.
But that's biologically backward. Being lazy steals energy. Boredom steals energy. It's counterintuitive. But if you wake up sore, if you push your body, if you track your workouts, you actually generate more fuel for your mind. It's like a dynamo. The machine only creates power when it spins.
It's that feeling of vitality. And speaking of vitality, we have to talk about the unbranding story. This was the highlight for me. Imagine being at the top of your game in a specific career. You're famous. You're paid millions. You're the rom-com king.
The Matthew McConaughey archetype.
Exactly. He's got the job, the money, the fame. But he looks at his life and realizes his real life, his fatherhood, his emotions, is more vibrant than his work. He was crying harder and laughing louder in real life than he was on screen. His work became a ceiling.
That is a golden handcuff situation if I've ever heard one. So what does he do? He doesn't just pivot, he stops. He calls it unbranding. He refused to do what he was good at because it wasn't feeding his soul anymore. He turned down the easy money.
And the scary part isn't the quitting. It's the silence that follows. He mentioned going 6 months without an offer. Then 14 months, nothing. Hollywood literally forgot him.
That's the price of reinvention. You have to be willing to die in the eyes of the public to be reborn. He said something profound. I became a new good idea because I wasn't in your living room every week. By making himself scarce, he regained his value. But think about the fortitude required to endure 20 months of silence, wondering if you just threw your career away.
It's about seeking friction. He wanted a role that made him sweat. He wanted to be afraid. And I think that applies to everyone, not just actors. If your daily work doesn't make you slightly nervous that you might fail, are you actually growing?
Probably not. You're just coasting. And coasting is the first step toward decay. But let's bring this down to the micro level. We talk about these big career moves, but life is mostly small, repetitive moments. There was a breakdown in our notes about the mathematics of daily life that blew my mind.
The argument at dinner calculation?
Yes, this is pure Jordan Peterson style logic. Okay, imagine you have a difficult relationship with your kid or your partner. You spend 45 minutes every evening fighting about dinner or bedtime or homework. You think it's just 45 minutes.
But do the math.
Right. 45 minutes a day is about 5 hours a week. That's 20 hours a month. That's 240 hours a year. That is 6 full work weeks. You are spending a month and a half of your working life every year in a state of misery with the people you love.
When you put it that way, it's horrifying. We obsess over vacations, which happen once a year for a week. But we ignore the dinner table, which happens every single day.
Exactly. The advice is fix the routine. Don't worry about the trip to Hawaii. Worry about the Tuesday night dinner. If you fix that 10% of your life that repeats every day, you fix your life because you are your habits, not your exceptions.
That connects to the idea of identity and failure. There's a strong message here. You are not your failures.
That's a hard separation to make. When we fail, we tend to internalize it. I failed, therefore I am a failure. But the script flips it. Your life is just a series of lessons. If you dwell on the failure, you're just staring at the wreckage. You have to look at the wreckage, take the black box recorder, learn why the plane crashed, and then get back in the cockpit. You are the pilot, not the crash.
I like that. You are the pilot, not the crash. It requires a certain level of delusion, almost. Or maybe just extreme self-belief. You have to build what was described as a force field around you.
The force field concept is vital. It's about your circle. If you surround yourself with people who are energized, who are building things, who are disciplined, it becomes a protective bubble. Negativity bounces off. But if you're around people who are cynical or lazy, that force field collapses.
It's interesting because the speaker mentioned that he doesn't just want to compliment successful people. He wants to digest their energy. He wants to look at them and say, I'm taking this inspiration, and in 2 years, you're going to see how much I've grown.
It's competitive, but in a healthy way. It's not, I want to beat you. It's, I want to match your frequency. But ultimately, who is the competition?
It's you. It's always you.
Precisely. You versus you. It's the only fight that matters. The world isn't stopping you. The government isn't stopping you. Usually, it's your own lack of discipline or your own fear of discomfort.
There was a line about tragedy that I want to touch on before we wrap up. You don't really feel the good moments unless life burns you.
That's the stoic element. Tragedy puts things in perspective. When you've been in the valley, the view from the hill is so much sweeter. If you've never lost anything, you don't know how to hold on to things tightly. It's the burn that teaches you the value of the balm.
So, if we synthesize all of this, the solitude, the unbranding, the math of routine, the force field, it comes down to a decision to stop drifting.
It comes down to agency. You have to realize that there are infinite ways to interpret the world, but only a few ways that are productive. You can interpret your pain as a victim, or you can interpret it as fuel. You can interpret your boredom as a break, or as a signal to reinvent yourself.
And you have to be willing to be misunderstood for a while, like the actor leaving the rom-coms. People will think you're crazy.
Let them. Remember, madness and greatness are neighbors. If people think you're a little crazy for waking up at 4 a.m., or for quitting the safe job, or for being strict about your family dinner time, good. It means you're leaving the herd.
It reminds me of that feeling of being unshakable. When you know who you are, and you've done the work in the dark, nothing outside can rattle you.
That's the goal. To reach a point where you don't need the applause to keep going, and you don't stop just because of the booze. You just work. You sweat the big stuff. You embrace the friction.
So, for everyone listening, here is the challenge for the week. Look at your daily routine. Find that 45 minutes of misery, whatever it is. The commute, the argument, the scrolling on social media.
And fix it. Don't endure it. Fix it, because that little slice of time is actually your life slipping away.
And maybe, just maybe, sit on the edge of your bed and ask that dangerous question. What could I stop doing today to make my life better?
Just be ready for the answer. It might change everything.
Thanks for listening. Keep building that force field.
See you next time.